Welcome back to Tactical Pontoon, the Trigger Jedi. Today we're going to talk about a PSA Dagger. This little guy right there, look at that. I have a sticker for one of those. I hear those are a little bit hard to get sometimes, but I got one. Special like that. This is going to be a video, kind of a start of a series. It'll be a short series, and I want to get straight to the point on the trigger system for the Dagger. Yes, my hands are not clean. I am literally in the middle of building triggers, and this is just a video I wanted to film for you guys. So, to start up, this is the first of probably a series of 2 to 3 videos on the Dagger trigger system. This first video is on, without buying anything, 0 things, how you can get the most out of your factory trigger system. If you, for some reason, want to keep that hinge trigger, you like it, you don't want to spend any money, this is the video for you. Buying nothing, how can you get the most out of this trigger system? It's overall not a terrible trigger system. Obviously, there can be improvements, and without purchasing anything aside from perhaps tools that maybe you should already have, this is how to get the most out of your Dagger trigger system. Okay, the very first thing that you should do is verify your cruciform to striker lug engagement. Now, I have a video on this channel about how to do so. Tool-wise, what you will need is a Glock armorer's plate, which is one of these guys right here. This goes in the back of your slide and allows you to see how much cruciform to striker lug engagement that you are getting. Okay, this is an important tool if you're changing out trigger parts or playing with triggers or that sort of thing. Now, I have these on the website. They're $25 or $20. And like I said, my goal here with this first video is to get you the most value for your dollar. And you don't have to buy one of these. If you've been around playing with Glocks and daggers and that sort of thing for any amount of time, and you want to do this on the cheap, maybe you have an old slide plate from an old Glock or something, or you can go find one, borrow from a buddy or whatnot, and you can just, with a razor blade or a Dremel, just take the bottom part of this off so that you can see your cruciform to striker lug engagement. All right, so that is one tool you'll need for that. Relatively cheap. The other one is a vise. Now, I'm not going to show you this process. I have a video here on the channel that goes over all of it. Big vise, small vise, it doesn't really matter as long as you have a vise. What you want to do is you want to verify that you have between 70 and 80% engagement. If you have too much engagement, over 80%, the trigger is going to drag before it breaks, and that will cause a very, what people call a soft or a rolling break, or just it'll drag. Like I said, it'll drag before it breaks. If you want the cleanest possible break, you want to be between 70 and 80%. The lower the amount, the crisper the break is going to be. Now, factory Glock specifications, the minimum requirement is 66% to be considered safe. So anywhere between 70 and 80%, you're safe. You're going to have the cleanest break possible. So as I said, you'll need 2 tools for that. It's a relatively simple process. The other thing that you need to do when you are checking your cruciform to striker lug engagement to get the most accurate reading, use a magazine with a snap cap inserted into the gun, which will then raise the slide up ever so slightly and put it in operational condition, and that will verify that you are setting this thing up correctly. That is the most important, and that will give you, when you adjust that striker lug to cruciform engagement, that is going to give you the most performance out of any of these tips that I'm about to give you. That is the number one recommendation. The second recommendation is this guy right here. For the most part, it doesn't contact slides, but some aftermarket slides, non-PSA Dagger slides, it's going to cause extra friction. Now, you can verify whether you're getting any friction whatsoever by looking at the top of your slide where this rides. And if you are seeing drag marks in the Cerakote or the finish of the slide, I would recommend taking a Dremel and removing this dot. That is going to reduce any sort of friction from this little spot. Now, the trigger bar itself is a relatively high quality trigger bar when it comes to aftermarket trigger bars, and we're gonna try to zoom in here. Okay, this area right here, which had the dot on it, this has some machining marks, or where it was stamped out. With a Dremel, hand polishing is not going to get the job done. Hand polishing is just going to make this area shiny. What you can do with a Dremel with some high quality metal polish. A lot of people use flits. That's probably going to be the easiest one to get a hold of that is relatively good quality. A lot of your polishes like Mothers and Meguiar's, that sort of thing, are ammonia based, and they eventually are going to wear through the surface of it. It's a heavy duty chemical, and I recommend staying away from it. Like I said, Flitz is probably going to be the best one. You can also look at like lapidary pastes on Amazon, eBay, online. A very high grit, like 32 thousandths or even 16 thousandths. And with a Dremel, you can just knock this guy out, smooth it up. That is going to reduce some of the friction. The other thing is back here on the cruciform. Let's see if I can get this in. Okay, kind of shaky, but there are some marks in the cruciform face that also, with that Dremel and a good metal polish, you can kind of take some of that out. It does not have to be perfect. These are minor adjustments. These are minor things. Like I said, cruciform engagement to striker lug is going to give you the most performance. This is just going to clean that break up just a little bit. The area that rides the connector is actually pretty clean. You can polish that guy up some if you would really like to, just to finish it up. But it is actually one of the cleanest ones out there, and that is where it rides on the connector and drops the sear or the cruciform. Okay, and the last thing is lubrication. Instead of your basic Hoppies or Hopes or Hippopotamus gun oil, Tactical Pontoon recommends a gun grease. Again, I'm not trying to sell you anything. This is my video on how to get the most performance without buying anything from me. And I would recommend the Badger Snot gun grease, but if you have access to a gun grease or maybe even a general purpose grease, a very thin little bit between the connector and the trigger bar in this area, a little bit here on the vertical extension, and you should be good to go. That is going to give you the best performance from your factory Dagger trigger assembly. That is going to give you the best performance. Like I said, the first step that I recommend is the cruciform to striker lug engagement, and that is going that step right there alone is going to give you 80% of the benefit. The rest of it is just that little bit of extra. Okay, so that's my video. I hope it helps you out. I hope that can, give you what you need from your Dagger trigger. And in the next video, we're going to talk a little bit about the tune-up kits and what it changes and where you can go from there. But for this one, without it spending any money or very little money and really just on tools and not adding any springs, not changing anything, just tuning what you have, this is it. So I will catch you in the next one. Thank you guys. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the little section below, or hit me up on the website or one of the Dagger forums on like Facebook or whatnot. So I'll catch you next time.